Letter second. Come to know me intimately. My dear friend, it is so difficult being human, and the reality is that is precisely what you are, human. I know that you seek meaning to your life. Can you imagine being a child of the President of the United States or of an international movie star? Doors would open for you without your having to do anything. You would be famous and recognizable simply because you were the child of someone famous. However, when you try to imagine that possibility, you are left with the reality that it is only imagination. You are not the child of the President of the United States or of an international star. Moreover, even if you were, that would not give meaning to your life. The fame would belong to your parent, not to you. Nevertheless, you are something even more special. You are my child, created in my Father's image and likeness. This is not something you have to imagine. This is something you are. Most people want to achieve great things in life, such as succeeding at a job and moving up at work, becoming widely respected, having unique accomplishments. However, no achievements can reveal the greatest achievement, knowing me. Knowing me is like wondrous music that fills body and soul with delicate sounds beyond any beauty you have ever known, but more. Knowing me is like a taste sweeter than honey, beyond any taste you have ever known, that fills you fully, but more. Knowing me is like a burning flame of love that fires you with a passionate love for me and all that is dear to me. A flame that transfigures you till every particle of your being burns with love. Knowing me is knowing me as raised from the dead, touching me as Thomas touched me, is touching me raised. It is laying your hands as Thomas did on my wounds, the places where the light shines most brightly. My friend, drawing closer to me does not mean I will absorb you and that you will lose your own identity. You will always be the wonder that my Father created you to be. This union of our hearts, this interpenetration of love is not absorption, but a joining of your will with mine. Planted in the center of your soul is the seed of the everlasting. Let me nurture that seed. Let me help you to become everything you are meant to be. I have become everything I was ever meant to be because I believed and trusted my Father. I am indeed the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me. You cannot analyze me with a microscope. I live in inconceivable splendor. The whole universe cannot contain me. I am from beyond, yet I became so near, an infant, a child, a man, touchable and wonderful. I came that you may have life and have life more abundantly. However, all these words fall short in describing the loving knowledge, vast and tender, that awaits you. Quiet your heart. In the hush of my presence, the unseen becomes seen, and eternity becomes real. Let the stillness of my peace flow through you. Wherever you find yourself in this moment, I can touch you. Perhaps you are anxious. Perhaps it seems to you that your world is collapsing around you. Stress, huge and heavy, weighs down on you. Let me take this stress away. I am so near you, nearer to you than your breath, nearer to you than your heartbeat, more intimate to you than you are to yourself. Just reach out and touch me now. In my presence, fear, tension, and anxiety dissolve. Imagine I am seated beside you. I take your hand in mine. Your fingers can trace the place where the nail tore my flesh. The warmth of my healing love flows from my wounded hand to your hand, and from your hand up through your arm into your shoulders. The healing warmth flows into your chest, knitting you back together, calming you and soothing you. Rest of a few moments in the calm. Rest a few moments in the calm. Wherever you find yourself at this moment, I can touch you. Perhaps you are anxious. Perhaps it seems that your world is collapsing around you. Stress, huge and heavy, weighs down on you. Let me take this stress away. Perhaps you are full of joy now. Let me into the joy so you can taste the freshness of eternity in it. The heavenly light that surrounds me now surrounds you too, forming a cocoon of light, caressing you, touching you, loving you. You breathe in the light, breathe out the distress, until all of you, inside and out, is saturated by that light. My light absorbs and takes away the tensions, the fears, and the anxieties. Rest yet a moment in the silence. Your friend, Jesus. Scripture reflection. Abide in me as I abide in you. Just as the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. Those who abide in me and I in them bear much fruit, because apart from me you can do nothing. John chapter 15, verses 4 and 5. Prayer. Dear Jesus, you are more intimate to us than we are to ourselves. You move within our hearts with currents of love that are infinite and unfathomed. Help us recognize your movements within. Help us respond to your nearness by reaching out to others and letting the warmth and kindle in our souls affect all of those around us. Amen.